Let's see how that looks.
Adjust the camera a little bit so you're perfectly in the center.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
Perfect. I think we're ready. Welcome to Brawijaya News Podcast, a podcast with well-known issues that happens in our society, hosted by me, Athirra Qatrunnada. Stick around and enjoy this podcast. It's been a scary time this past month, right? Everything has been stopped. Schools and workplaces are in shutdown. Events have been postponed and cancelled. The economic is in chaos. Basically, every aspect of human life is in bad situations, and it's all because of COVID-19. Today we will be discussing about COVID-19, and we have our special guest, Aura and Lina. How are you guys doing?
I'm good today. Thank you for asking.
I'm great.
Okay, so please introduce yourself first.
Hello, I'm Istiqfar Amalina and I'm an English literature student in Brawijaya University.
Hi, my name is Maritza or Estrella. Just call me Aura. I'm also a student of English literature of Brawijaya University.
Alright, let's begin our discussion, shall we? The new coronavirus has spread to nearly every country in the world since it first emerged in China at the beginning of 2020. So, what is coronavirus or COVID-19?
Okay, so coronaviruses are a large family of virus which may cause illness in animals or humans. And in humans, several coronaviruses are known to cause respiratory infection ranging from the common cold to more severe disease such as Middle East respiratory syndrome or known as MERS and severe acute respiratory syndrome or known as SARS.
And the most recently discovered coronavirus causes coronavirus disease COVID-19.
So the COVID-19 virus is a new virus linked to the same family as MERS, SARS, and some type of common cold. Is it correct?
That's right.
And for your information, the virus was officially declared as a pandemic by World Health Organization on March 11, pointing to the over 118,000 cases of the coronavirus illness in over 110 countries and territories around the world and the sustained risk of further global spread. Okay, so how did the COVID-19 start?
The disease appears to have originated from a Wuhan seafood market where wild animals are traded illegally. Coronaviruses are known to jump from animals to humans, so it's thought that the first people infected with the disease contracted from a contact with animals.
Where it come from and how did it first infect humans?
Actually, the animal source of COVID-19 is still unknown, but there are some strong contenders that the new coronavirus's genetic makeup is 96% identical to coronavirus found in pets, according to a team of virologists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. There is still no certainty about how the virus formed. There are still many debates among experts because of differences of opinions.
The current state of knowledge about the coronavirus and the origin of the virus remains provisional. Like other coronaviruses before, it simply spread to humans via a natural event. The starting point for many in the scientific community, including the World Health Organization.
Okay, so let's move to the next question. The virus has spread not only in China but also all around the world. Could you tell us on how it spreads from country to country and which countries have the most cases and deaths?
It started in China in early 2020 when the cases start to rise. At the peak of its outbreak around mid-February, China have more than 5,000 cases in a single day. Yes, in a single day. As of April 29, Chinese health authorities had acknowledged over than 83,000 confirmed cases and more than 4,000 deaths, most of them within the province of Hubei, which the capital city is Wuhan. However, since March, the country has seen a remarkable slowdown. On March 17, China recorded just 39 new cases of the virus, which is very good.
It appears that China, where the virus was found, has its outbreak under control. So, what happens next? Did the problem stop there?
Yes, but while things were slowing down in China, the outbreak started to picking up in the rest of the world. The biggest case after China was followed in South Korea, Italy, and Iran. In less than a month, Italy has gone from having only 3 cases to having the highest number of cases and deaths outside of China.
Do these countries still have a high cases? Or are there other countries that have a high cases? To my knowledge, the spread of the coronavirus in the US is increasing rapidly. Not only in the US, but also Spain, UK, and other countries in Europe.
Over time, the development of COVID-19 around the world moved and changed quickly. South Korea seems to have it under control very fast, and I think it's because of the government. Why the government? Because they were taking the cases very seriously. They conducted a massive rapid test, and also the people were following every protocol. So that's why South Korea handled it very quickly. On the other hand, Italy is in the Italy is in the third rank, and other countries in Europe appear to have increased in number of cases. For example, Spain is now in the second rank with 245,567 confirmed cases and 25,100 deaths. The highest number has seen in the US, which now has over than 1 million confirmed infections and 67,290 deaths.
Alright then, I will point out the latest update about COVID-19 all around the world. As of May 2, the outbreak of the coronavirus disease or COVID-19 had been confirmed in around 210 countries or territories. The virus had infected 3,478,260 people worldwide, and the number of deaths had totaled 244,046. It is clear to say that the most severely affected countries now are US, Italy, and Spain. So, how does the COVID-19 transmitted?
People can catch COVID-19 from others who have the virus. The disease spreads primarily from a person to person through small droplets from nose or mouth, which are expelled when a person with COVID-19 speaks, sneezes, or cough. These droplets are relatively heavy, do not travel far, and quickly sink to the ground. People can catch COVID-19 if they breathe in these droplets from a person infected with the virus.
And that is why it is important to stay at least 1 meter away from others. The droplets can land on objects and surfaces around the person, such as tables, doorknobs, and handrails. People can become infected by touching these objects and surfaces, then they're touching the eyes, nose, and mouth. And this is why it is important to wash your hands regularly with soap and water, or clean with alcohol-based hand rub.
I see, but is it possible that the numbers who got infected in cities and countries are different because of the size of the countries?
Yes, the bigger countries, the higher chances that the countries will be infected. Take a look at United States. At least more than 100,000 people are known to have been infected with the coronavirus, including also more than 1,000 deaths. Much more cases than China, Italy, or any other countries that has coronavirus cases.
Yeah, I heard that. How does US have more COVID-19 cases than China, who started first?
Because US failed to take the pandemic seriously, even as it engulfs China. A deeply flawed effort to provide broad testing for the virus that left the country blind to the extent of the crisis, and a dire shortage of masks and protective gear to protect doctors and nurses on the front lines, as well as ventilators to keep the critically ill alive.
So that's why now at least 160 million Americans have been ordered to stay home in states from California to New York, and schools are closed, often along with bars, restaurants, and many of other business. Hospitals are coping with soaring numbers of patients in New York City, even as supplies of essential protective gear and equipment dwindle. Is it correct?
That's right.
Speaking of the size of the region, what is the difference between big cities and countries, with small cities and countries, when it comes to overcome this pandemic?
This new virus, it's hard, I would say. We still don't know the cure, and all countries, whether developed countries or developing countries, are in crisis, and they need more time to handle this pandemic. But in my opinion, small countries and cities are more capable to handle the virus because of small population. Although big cities and countries has more sufficient infrastructure, but it's easier to govern a city or country when it has less population.
Yes, because there's a lot of big countries who have the highest COVID-19 cases and death rate. How does the small cities and countries prevent the virus to spread?
As Aula said, that the less population became one of the main reasons why small countries and cities had the benefit to prevent the virus. And also, strict laws from the government is highly needed in this pandemic. Take a look at Vietnam. Vietnam prepared for the outbreak before it recorded its first case. When first case appeared, Vietnam immediately executed lockdown. Now they only have 271 cases in total, without no new cases and death.
To sum this up, small cities and countries have more benefit to dealing with COVID-19 outbreak because of its less population. Is it correct?
That's right.
What about COVID-19 cases in our country, Indonesia?
So far, Indonesia has recorded 12,071 cases, the second highest in Southeast Asia, behind only Singapore. In terms of death numbers, Indonesia ranks 5th in Asia with 872 deaths. Its fatality rate is also one of the highest in the world, at around 7%.
That's huge. But how does the COVID-19 starts in Indonesia?
From January until February 2020, Indonesia reported 0 cases of coronavirus, despite being surrounded by infected countries such as Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, and Australia. On 2 March 2020, Indonesian President Joko Widodo announced the first case in Jakarta that eventually became the first province that confirmed coronavirus. A dance instructor and her mother. Both of them had held a dance class at a restaurant on 14 February, which was attended by more than a dozen people, one of whom was a Japanese and later tested positive for coronavirus in Malaysia.
I see, and how does it affect Indonesian society and its daily life? Is it true that we have a lot of difficulties to handle the coronavirus outbreak?
Since the first confirmed case in Indonesia, our country dealing with a lot of aspects. For example, the business. Business across different sectors have been hit hard. School activities are closed. Events that require a lot of people also postponed or even cancelled. And there are still many more things that affect Indonesian daily life activities. So yes, we have difficulty to handle this unpleasant situation.
Well, in conclusion, Indonesia is still trying to survive from the coronavirus outbreak, although there is already huge COVID-19 cases in the country. Well, we hope that this pandemic will end soon so that all of us can continue our daily activity. I think it already comes to the end for our podcast interview. Thank you so much, Istiqfar Amalina and Maritza Estrella, for joining us. We really appreciate your presence in our podcast.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having us.
It's an honor for us.
For the last question and to end our podcast interview, can you guys give a little tips to the audience on how to stay healthy and always be cautious of the COVID-19 outbreak?
Always eating well, have enough sleep, and exercise if you have time. Also, do activities that can make you happy is the best way to stay healthy.
Wear a mask if you feel unwell, wash your hands frequently, take some vitamins, and do social distancing. I think that's some tips that I could give to you to always be cautious of COVID-19. Stay safe, stay at home, everyone.
Okay, once again, thank you so much for Lina and Aura that has already joined in our podcast, and big thank you to the audience that has already joined us from the beginning. Please keep in mind that the information about COVID-19 are always updated every day, so you have to look it up for the latest information. See you and have a great day, everyone.